We also have Rajdeep Sardesai joining us on the broadcast. Rajdeep, a very good afternoon to you. My question here to you would be, we have been discussing with regards to what India, in fact, ended up expressing on the field yesterday, both pre and post the match. But the question here is Pakistan trying to get a rise at this given point using the very situation? There is no protocol that has been breached. India-Pakistan matches have been much more tense in the past. After a Pahalgam attack, we have seen India still playing the very game to adhere to the regulations of the very Asia Cup League. And despite that, a shaking of hand not being done, that is what's being pointed out by them.
Well, I'm sorry, I have a very unpopular opinion, completely different to what I heard from my friend Mr. Gaurav Sawant. He clearly has not played the game. The fact is that if you don't want to play Pakistan, don't play. I have absolutely no problem, and I do believe in the present circumstances, the game should not have happened. This is my view. Having played the game, not shaking hands is unacceptable to me. Anyone who has ever played the game, and I speak for a number of cricketers who will probably not voice this, but know it in the heart of hearts, is unacceptable. You cannot make Shaheen Shah Afridi responsible for an attack in Pahalgam. Just as tomorrow you cannot make an Indian player accountable for what happens, let's say, if Pakistan accuses us of something in Balochistan. Unacceptable. Players cannot be reduced to these kind of warriors where they are expected to wear soldiers' uniforms. They are cricketers. They play a sport. Sport is supposed to raise the level of skill and human endeavor, not become victims or trapped in the weaponization of ugly politics. That, to my mind, is unacceptable. So I'm very clear about it. Having decided to play the game, then you follow the spirit of the game. And if you don't want to follow the spirit of the game, don't play. It's as simple as that. I mean, are you telling me that a handshake between, let's say, the Pakistan captain and the Indian captain would suddenly bring back to the victims of Pahalgam the anger and grievance that they feel, that they would feel let down? They feel let down because you played with Pakistan, for God's sake. Having taken that decision to play with Pakistan, now to say, okay, we'll play, but we won't shake your hand. I mean, what rubbish is that? This is precisely the problem. We rely on symbolism, empty, it's hollow, empty symbolism. And it gives Pakistan, unfortunately, the opportunity to take the moral high ground, saying, well, we were ready to shake hands and the Indians won. Please understand, we do not want to be victims of ugly politics. Make our cricketers, please keep sports out of this kind of ugly politics. And that's my view. I mean, it may be, as I said, unpopular, but I do believe that if you play the sport, then you jolly well follow sportsman spirit or don't play the sport at all.
Rajdeep, I'll request you to stay with us because I'll come to Gaurav now. Gaurav, what is your take on what has just been said by Rajdeep? And also, you know, nationalistic spirit or rather politics versus overtaking cricket at this given point. The discussion comes back to that.
Just reading namaz on 22 yards by the Pakistani players like they do, is that the gentleman's game? Is, this Shoaib Akhtar talking about Ghazwa-e-Hind? Is that thing? Is Imam ul-Haq talking about converting people to Islam while playing cricket? Is that the gentleman's game? If that is the gentleman's game, I'm glad I have not played this game. And, somebody thinks that Pakistan, a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror, can take the moral high ground because Indians have not shaken hands in a country where nobody in their cricketing team has criticized terror, bleeds India. And, not just once, not just Pahalgam in 2025, 1993, 257 people were massacred. We were playing cricket, and Javed Miadad is married to, his son married Dawood Ibrahim's daughter. And you are saying cricket has nothing to do with it? The cricket directly funds that radical Islamist terror. We may want to turn a blind eye to it. Fair enough, do that. But then we've had a history of turning a blind eye because it continues to bleed us. In midst of, even after 26/11 Mumbai attacks, we played cricket with Pakistan. Did that terror state? Are we holding the cricket team responsible? No, we are not. At the same time, when a cricket team, you take a knee for Black Lives Matter, and you can't make a statement about your own Indian lives matter, or in Pahalgam's case, Hindu lives matter. Do Hindu lives matter less? Did anybody object to that gentleman's game when Black Lives Matter, when the Indian team took a knee? I'm sorry, that so-called popular view is just being so woke, but not being practical about the ground realities of our times. Rajdeep, and to all our friends, Hindu lives also matter. So if India makes a stand, takes a stand like Surya Kumar Yadav rightly did, then let us not criticize it and call it ungentlemanly. And nothing that India does gives Pakistan, a sponsor of radical Islamist terror, moral high ground, unless you choose to cede that ground to Pakistan.
Right, Gaurav. Rajdeep, I'll come to you with what Gaurav has said, but I'll also add on to this. I want your response on this as well. That while you are saying that, let's not politicize cricket, let's not make it ungentlemanly at this given point, let's also understand what happens when cricketers like Shoaib Akhtar come out to say, let's not take this to the next level. Well, when they end up, commenting on the circumstances in a very light way. They are lightening the situation somewhere down the line by making comments like, "Isko itna बढ़ाना क्यों है?" Rajdeep, if you can hear me. We will bring back Rajdeep into the conversation. But Gaurav, let me also ask you here, and you began, I remember, and this is for both Nikhil and Gaurav. Let's also understand. That brings us, at the points that you've raised, it brings us back to the question, should India have played this game in the very first place? Because you're pointing out that there are several reasons why this game shouldn't have been played to begin with. Then what happens to that very decision of the BCCI and the government at the same time?
So Nikhil may want to answer that on technicalities. As an Indian, I don't think we should be playing Pakistan. I don't think we should be having anything to do with a sponsor of radical Islamist terror as long as military charge network continues to bleed India. Our ties with Pakistan should be restricted only to that government to government level, our commission to high commission level at whatever level, so that you know what's happening on the other side of the hill. And there be no people to people contact for simple reason. People to people contact has not resulted peace between the two countries. And for me as an Indian, the only thing matters that Indian lives should not be lost at the hands of radical Islamist terror. That's my only concern. Whether Pakistan succeeds as a country or disintegrates into many pieces like it ultimately will, Baluchistan going its own way and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa going its own way, well, good luck to them. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want fellow Indians to die. Should government be playing with them? I think no. Nikhil can tell us better whether if playing with them helps us in Commonwealth Games or in Olympic Games for multilateral events. I'm glad bilateral cricket is not happening.